Always the way. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is 11:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Neil.
I can never get this right. It should be opposite of where the frick I am. But that's okay. Just bear with me here because I'm about to mute. About to start these and mute them because I like to see what's going on. That's muted already, so that's good. And that one. Hold on. So it's under the rug. The Durham Report has dropped, and that's really what we're talking about today. It could be interesting.
Well, let's sort of get everybody up to speed what's been going on in our own lives, Andrew. I mean, you know, we skipped a week.
Yeah, my apologies for that, guys. I'm in case you might still be able to hear it. I'm a little nasally. I'm still not 100%, but I feel much better than I have the last week. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I've said to Andrew, you know, it's like, and I said, the reason your body's doing that is because you've put enough work in and got your system healthy enough that it's ready to kick out all this crap you've been consuming over the years. So lots of nasal and drizzle and coughing and spluttering, and you'll get there. You'll get there. So it's a force to detox, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm just about to come in. I'm just sharing this again so that we can get more people here. Guys, if you are just joining us, if you're joining us for the very first time, then please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Apparently it helps the algorithm, which is great. I'm trying to write we're live, but I wrote we're more. We're more live than we have been for weeks. So, but welcome. It's great to have you here with us. This is the show. It's called Under the Rug, where we talk about controversial topics. We offer our opinion on it. We do encourage you all to go and research everything that we talk about. Now, we believe what we talk about, but it is offered as an opinion, and definitely encourage you to do your own research on these things because really it's the only way you can have true faith in it yourself. And to be fair, with the bullshit that we've been fed over the last 3 years, it's more and more important. It's a lot more than the last 3 years, but it's become really freaking obvious in the last 3 years. But it's become even more and more important to do your own research and really understand what's happening and why.
Oh, yeah.
And if you are watching, if you are the single solitary, there's two people watching. One of them's probably dead, but that's okay. If you are one of those people watching, then please share this with other people so they can get on with us now.
Oh, I just did
it. If I sniff every now and then, I apologise.
If my face looked a little bit blank then because I was typing and doing it. It's something I certainly find, and I'd be one of the few males to admit to it, that I'm not very good at multitasking.
Yeah, no, neither am I. That book, that hopefully you read it at the start of the year, Limitless by Jim Quick, he says that multitasking is a myth. You can't. The brain can't do it. Even females, I can multitask. Well, can you? Really?
well, yeah. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
It could be dangerous. Leave that one alone. I fear for my life.
Oh dear! But
I'm sure I've got the right cameras in here. I have. Cool.
But what else? But what else has been happening in your life, Andrew? Apart from getting the flu and you know, don't come back one of those, you know. When males get the flu, that it's like they're dying. It's the end of the world. You haven't been going through that process, have you?
No, I tried not to, but I full on got the flu. It wasn't man flu because man flu usually it's done in a day or so, but it wasn't. It was a good week. And I know there'll be people out there go, "Oh, you got COVID." You can't get something that doesn't fucking exist. So no, I didn't get that. Well, it was a detox. You said it perfectly.
Yeah. The thing with it, and if you actually had one of those JOB things, you know, you probably could have lined yourself up for 14 days off of work and got paid for it, maybe.
No. Well, yeah. I'd rather be my own boss. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Still got income coming in while I'm sick. It doesn't matter.
Just to remind everybody what JOB stands for is either just over broke.
Or just obey the boss.
Yeah, or just obey the boss. either way, you're not in control of your own life. Somebody else is.
Yeah. Hey, and that's not to take a shot that anyone that is out there, women working a job, if that's what you need to do for your family, then good on you, women. Yeah, and if that's what you enjoy, awesome, good for you. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. I went down that path and it wasn't something that I enjoyed.
It's-
And if anyone goes, well, you're not supposed to enjoy it. Yes, you are. If you don't enjoy it, then there's something fucking wrong. And that's the problem with society, is that we've been conditioned to think that, no, that's just how it is. Be fucked it is. That's not how it is. It's not how it's supposed to be. Anyway, but anyone watching the show already knows that.
Yeah. You have a conversation with, if you know somebody that's really happy in their job, if you have a conversation and there's 5 questions you ask them, and you'll very quickly find out how unhappy they are with work, family, and everything that's going on in their lives.
Absolutely. So just going up in there. So I was going to say something. What was it? That's the dog.
Oh, so that comes through loud and clear.
Is that Mercedes' dog?
No. No.
Sorry, there was Mercedes is Neil's oldest daughter. There was a conversation before the show that we don't have to go over here, but it was quite entertaining. Mercedes, if you're watching, we love you.
No, she won't be. She's looking after her dog.
So the title of the show is the Unveiling the Durham Report, or Unveiled the Durham Report. Now, if you're not sure what the Durham Report is, Durham is a special counsel in the United States, and he basically launched a whole. That's right, Dad. It is. He's talking about jobs, I'm pretty sure. So he launched an investigation into this whole Trump-Russia collusion bullshit, and the Steele dossier and all that shit. And the long story, long and the short of it is that after however many years of investigation, he's proven beyond doubt that the Department of Justice, the FBI, I think the CIO as well, but they all knew that it was bullshit, and yet they continued to carry on. The then sitting president of the United States, which was Barack Obama, knew and said and lied outright to CNN, saying, no, I didn't know anything about it. Well, he knew because he'd been briefed about it. And Clinton's campaign paid for it. So if that's not treason, I don't know what is. I mean, that's the fucking definition of treason. And absolutely, treason is still punishable by what fucking Neil just demonstrated. So let's have at it. Where are the public tribunals? Bring them out. People should be fucking enraged by this shit. Whether you like Trump or not is fucking irrelevant right now. That is and guys, if you think it's just the United States that this is happening, then you're fucking deluded. This is happening everywhere. It happened in New South Wales just last month with the elections that they had. So much election fraud. It happened earlier in the year or late last year here in Queensland. Everything. It happened. I know for a fact it happened in New Zealand.
Well, but you guys got to look at, but those countries, like what the areas that Andrew just talked about, aren't really. The people aren't awake there enough to stand up and do anything about it. But if you look at areas like Pakistan, you look at areas like France, you look at areas, and Turkey's probably going to come under the hammer again shortly as well. Like the citizens are standing up, and
Brazil was the same.
Enough.
Brazil was the same. Remember, we had all those shows about Bolsonaro and what was happening there.
Yeah. It's and I guess those countries have probably got the bigger awakened population base that have had enough. And you've got the farmers in the Netherlands, isn't it? And in France, there's so much stuff going on. But yeah, shit's happening. There's so many things. We were just talking before we came on the air about everything seems to be sort of getting to this pinnacle. I've frozen on my page there, but can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you. You sort of broke up a little bit, but we got you.
Yeah. But yeah, we seem to be, the information coming out publicly now seems to be ramping up in the political arena. We just look at the Durham Report. So that's not just the political arena. That has so many far-reaching ramifications. Let's see if they follow through. And start bringing justice along to this. That sorry
Well,
doesn't cut it.
here's the thing. I'm of the belief, and I know you are as well. We'd love to hear people's thoughts out in the field. Is that this process has actually already started? And if we look at DC, the White House has had fences around it for months, and there's a strange structure that's been built in the front of the of the White House, which looks eerily similar to gallows, doesn't it?
Well, haven't they? So when you say gallows, are you talking guillotines or
No. The gallows is the hangman's pole.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, didn't they purchase a whole bunch of guillotines? Did I read that somewhere?
I think that was France. Let them eat cake.
Oh, yeah.
But what does this mean? I mean, let's look at it. What does this mean if the Durham Report, and it's interesting too, if we talk about Durham, special counsel, he's not on the bar, because the bar, what do we know about the bar that's happened in the last 6 months, 12 months?
Well,
it's been dissolved.
Because it's full of corrupt people.
That's right, yeah, 100%. So Durham's done his investigation. He's shown beyond doubt that Obama knew, that Clinton paid for it, that the FBI knew, that the DOJ knew, that all of the bullshit, that it was all false, that the dossier, the Bim and Russia collusion, that it was all false. They all knew that. Then they interfered with the 2020 election as well, which has been proven, and I'm sure we'll see that come out, that the Supreme Court's actually already said, and that's why the women justices are in hiding for their own protection. They've reversed that decision from the 2020 election. Whether that's public knowledge or not is irrelevant right now. You don't have to believe me, that's fine. But let's look at that. Most of the people in, let's call them normies, most of the normies are still believing whatever the bullshit that's spat out from CNN, from NBC, whatever the fuck they are, all those women fake media news outlets. So what are the ramifications then? Does this go unpunished, or we're okay with that? We're okay with that level of corruption, because that's what that says about us if we don't stand up about it and go, well, hold on, somebody needs to be held to account here. Hillary Clinton needed to be held to account about her fucking emails all those years ago, and she wasn't. So is there a two-tier justice system? Is that what that's saying? That you and me and everyday people, we can't cross the road without getting in trouble for fucking jaywalking, but they can create a treasonous plot and a coup for a sitting president and go unpunished? Fuck that shit. What?
I love your passion, Andrew. You get it out there and you just say it as it's meant to be fucking said.
It needs to be.
It's like the beauty of our audience is that most of them are generally already awake, and so that they enjoy that part of it. But it's like, the bigger picture here of those that aren't awake and have followed all this stuff, and you can bring in the JAB. We were talking about the JOB a minute ago. Well, the JAB was probably worse and created more havoc in people's lives. But who was the mouthpiece for the people behind the scenes that perpetrated all this? It was this MSM, mainstream media, that were the mouthpiece for all these square individuals that followed and did as they were told. So it's like it's got to go to that level, right up there, for the uncovering of this. And it's like that and this Durham Report, Durham Report. I know you'll correct me because you like doing that.
What do you mean? Come on.
I put both versions out there so to get the right option, but that and what we've seen for the very first time since 2016 is the media actually bringing out some truth, which we have not heard. So it's like, has there been a flip switched on the media and allowing them to bring this out to the public? So it's much bigger than.
But that said, it's not all of them though. CNN, which is the constant negative news network, they have done a flip. They've done a flip. I mean, Fox has always been kind of controlled opposition as far as I can see, and they kind of bat both sides of the cage, and the same thing for Sky News, which I'm pretty sure is a subsidiary anyway. So they have come out and said it, but there's still a lot of people that are going, oh, you know, there's nothing in the Durham report. Fuck, are you blind? Are you stupid? Have you read it? Have you read the 316 pages of the Durham report? Because I can tell you, right, hold on, let me find the first one that I highlighted.
Oh, yeah. And just so you know, the Durham report's over, what, 300 pages, isn't it? 300 pages?
319 pages. Yeah, it's at the top. Like, 316, sorry. So as set forward in greater details, the initial receipt by the FBI headquarters of information from Australia, so this is part of the Five Eyes shit, on 28th of July 2016, concerning comments reportedly made in a tavern on the 6th of May 2016 by George Papadoulis, an unpaid foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign, and the government possessed no verified intelligence reflecting that Trump or the Trump campaign was involved in a conspiracy or collaborative relationship with the officials of the Russian government. Indeed, based on the evidence gathered in multiple exhaustive and costly federal investigations of these matters, including the instant investigation, neither the US law enforcement nor intelligence communities appears to have possessed any actual evidence of collusion in their holdings at the commencement of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. How the fuck can you now say, oh, well, no, but Durham's got it wrong? He was he was appointed by AG Barr, the Attorney General. So what? The Attorney General's a bit of an idiot too and didn't get it right. Is that what we're saying here? Seriously.
They're all in on it. They're all in on it.
George Carlin said it perfectly. It's all a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah. What is it? Is it a rich man's trick, or is that a deeper again?
That's a great movie. Guys, if you haven't watched that, 9/11, it's a rich man's trick. Go and watch it. I think it's 3 hours long, but it's worth watching. Really, really good. It goes right back and talks about the Kennedy assassination, George Prescott Bush's involvement in that as the director of the CIA. Very, very, very good. Very, very good. It's eye-opening. If you're still sleeping, then yeah. And Chris, I don't know if you're still watching. I'm pretty sure it's Chris. It's hard to see in the photo because that's not your name in the photo, but I'm pretty sure it's Chris. If you're still watching, if you haven't watched that video, bro, go and watch it. It'll open your eyes.
We were, before we came online, and we were sort of because we've got 7 people watching today, and I really am honouring you people for physically being here watching us today. Andrew had a quick jump on our Rumble channel, and we're averaging about 300 to 400 views on our channel. So we're actually getting out, each show. So we're getting out to a bigger audience. So thank you for all of those who, if you're not watching it here now, but you're going to watch it through Rumble and some of the other channels. Thanks for coming and spending time with us on our time of the week.
Yeah.
As we go under the rug and dig up the stuff, and today's one of those days where why we set this channel is we're getting closer and closer to, I guess, something really, really big. So if you've got any stuff from under your own rugs that you think we're missing, by all means, put it in the chat so we can talk about it here as well. But Mr. Durham's our man of the hour, and bringing forth the truth.
Yes. And my apologies, it wasn't Chris, it was Curdy. Sorry, I knew it was from from William Lawrence. Sorry, brother. Good to have you here, man. Hope you're well. So there's plenty of stuff coming out, and you and I also having another, as we do, we always have a bit of a chat before the show. In fact, we could record that sometimes, and it'd still be good content for the show. In fact, often it's Anyway, we were talking about some of the things that have been happening, and we've spoken a little bit about Jassara over the past few shows. Not recently, but in the past. I think what's this? This is episode 20. We've been going 6 months, bro. This is episode 23. We've missed 2 weeks in that time.
Congratulations.
But we've spoken about GESARA, and you can see a lot of the things. If you're not sure what GESARA stands for, Global Economic Security Reformation Act or something like that. There's plenty of stuff going on. We've seen right now the US dollar lose its essentially its international status as a reserve currency. That hasn't officially happened, but it has. We see a lot of we know about BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. But there's a lot more involved in that now. Turkey have already, there's a lot of nations that have said, oh, we want to join BRICS. Turkey's one of those. South America, a lot of the South American nations have been involved with that. I mean, obviously Brazil's already in there. We're talking about Ecuador and things like that. But also, what you might not have heard is the UK has asked to join that. Well, these countries that have asked to join, they've already joined. You and I were watching a video just before coming on. These countries have already joined. So these things that you're starting to see play out, they've all dropped the US dollar. None of them are trading in the US dollar. They're all trading in their own currency. And they're able to do that because of the XRP ledger. Okay, you might go, well, XRP is only worth 44 cents. Yeah, maybe the public ledger, but the private ledger is probably worth a lot more, which we've spoken about before. So we couple that together and we see all of these little things that are happening and all these little announcements that are starting to happen. If you're not awake, you're starting to wake up. If you are awake, you can start to look at those and take those as cues to go, actually, we're on the right track. And it is, as much as terrible as it sounds, and I don't like the idea of CBDCs, there's actually some good in those as well. They're not all bad and evil. Can they be used for that? Absolutely. Was that the original intent? 100% it was. But I believe that apparatus, and I have faith in this, that apparatus has been, it's not removed, it's been dismantled. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at the nations that are applying for BRICS, and if you look at Russia right now and the sanctions on Russia, they keep throwing sanctions at them, and the Russian economy is booming. Right, it's booming.
I'd said that last year when they and actually in February last year around that is that Putin didn't care. He was laughing. Cool, throw these sanctions. I don't care. We got another monetary system. We're fine.
And so if you think about that, the bigger picture of that, and as every other country's watching this, and they're going, well, Russia's given them the great big finger, and their economy's booming, and they've sort of stick your sanctions up your ass. We're going to carry on do it. It's like if you put an obstacle in front of someone and say you can't do it. Well, guess what? If
human nature is.
How do I get around that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's like Russia's got around it every time, and they're thriving. And obviously China's in this. If you look at all the BRICS nations, all these countries have supported Russia and allowed the trade to still continue around these sanctions. So all these other countries are going, fuck, why should we be controlled by this one currency and friggin' have them dictate to us what our economy can and can't do? Fuck
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So
and on that too, I believe what we're seeing play out, I believe that everything is settled.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
And I think what we're seeing, as frustrating as it is, and as painstaking as it seems to be, particularly for those that are already awake and have been awake for some time to what's been going on, is that you're like, why do we have to go through? We know this shit. Yeah, we know this shit, but not everybody knows. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing the deliberate. It's literally. I've just watched The Queen's Gambit. I don't know if you've watched that on Netflix. It's been seven episodes. It's brilliant. I don't know. There was bad reviews when it first came out. I don't know why, but it was a brilliant show. And I'm like, we are literally just watching a chess game right now.
Yeah.
There's some bad actors in low ranks that are still haven't got the memo yet, and they don't really know what to do because their leadership's been taken out. So they're just trying to throw mud at a wall to see what sticks. Well, they're only getting themselves further and further in the shit. Literally.
Well, if you look at the game of chess, right? What are the playing tools on the board? What are their names? The king, the queen, the knight, the pawns, the castle. That's like,
or rook, for those educated amongst us.
It's like they all have They all have specific moves and things that
Pacific
they can
moves.
do. Pacific? Specific? But to get back when you're talking though, there's one country that they don't that we haven't discussed that's probably already part of the BRICS is actually the USA. So if you think about that, and there's states that are joining the BRICS. There's everybody's going back and creating a gold-backed currency.
Well, I heard that Texas has succeeded from the States again.
Yeah.
Did I hear that somewhere? Or am I making that up? I'm sure I read that somewhere.
There's so much going on there.
Don't you know to turn your phone on Do Not Disturb? How dare you? But you're right, though, on what you've just said then. And I think you highlighted something to me just in saying that, or there was something that came up for me when you were saying that, is that, yeah, I believe that the people that are actually operating the true Republic of the United States of America,
correct,
have signed on to that.
So on that though, and just to clarify what I was saying, it's like right now, and what's controlling everybody is the US dollar connected to the US corporation. So it's the corporation part of it, which is the part in the show that's the movie out front. Everything else is happening behind the scenes with the real America and how it's meant to be. So it's a show. So that real America is all part and parcel of this, although it's not in mainstream and it probably won't be for a while yet. But everything's there. It's all ready to go.
Well, and you can also see that from other there's other evidence to suggest that there's a lot more going on than what we understand, or than what most people understand. And I say that with confidence due to the US Constitution, right? And that's to do with their home guard or even Coast Guard.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard is a domestic force, right? It patrols the coastal waters of the United States of America and protects their interests. However, it can be activated into an active service role where it takes on the ability or basically the mantle of full service, like actual naval vessels. Now, why is that important? Well, if they're just in peacetime and they're at home and they're not activated, then they're only allowed in their international or in their territorial waters, right? They have no jurisdiction in any international waters. Well, there was a US Coast Guard cutter intercepted a ship somewhere up around the Mediterranean last week. Well, that can't happen unless they've been activated by the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America, the Republic of the United States of America, not the fucking corporation, because the corporation's bankrupt and has been since 2019. We've already had that discussion 100 times here.
Yeah.
There's two separate entities that people need to understand, and it's the same thing. I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's the same thing with the straw man and the physical man or woman. And I had this discussion with Harlan yesterday. I remember I watched a thing a couple of weeks ago, and it was a video clip, and it was a guy that said, I can win in court in a couple of minutes, and it's simple. I ask one question: what dictionary are we using today? The Oxford Dictionary or the Black's Law Dictionary? Now, whichever way the judge answers that, they are screwed. Because if they say, we're using the Oxford Dictionary, you say, great, I'm a man, not a person. That doesn't apply to me because all statutes and laws are created for persons. Now, a person is a legal fiction. It's it doesn't exist. It's a dead entity. Now, if they're operating under the Black's Law, there's a secondary question to that. If she says the Oxford Dictionary says, great, who do you see in front of you? A man? She goes, yes, cool. Then none of that shit applies to me. If she says Black's Law, and you go, okay, who do you see in front of me? Am I a man? As soon as she answers that, because she can't answer anything other than yes, then the case is thrown out. Because Black's Law states, the dictionary states it very, very clearly, and you can find editions online in a PDF format. Just go and search it. Very clearly that a person is a legal fiction. It's a dead entity.
Yeah.
That's why whenever you have a interaction with an officer of the constabulary or a policy enforcer, is they ask you what your name is. They're trying to get you to contract with them as that dead entity. You have to say the name. They can't say it. You might think that what I'm saying is hooey, but it's not. Go and research it. It's all out there. But it's the same thing. There's two entities. Coming back to the where I started with the United States of America, the Republic of the United States of America, and people go, oh, I know, particularly from this part of the world in New Zealand, well, it doesn't affect us. Yes, it fucking does. It really does. Like, people in the United States think that the United States is free and it's, they're independent. No, they're not. Well, they are now, but they weren't. Was it 1871? Was that the year? But basically, they were bankrupt. So who held who was the creditor, the creditor that held the note for that? It was the king of the United Kingdom. So England still owned the United States right up until 1999, when old JPG or whatever his name is, yeah, that's right, JPG, he captured the flag.
Yeah. And here we are. So what we're seeing is the final throes of the old system. And if you think about it, they couldn't just dismantle it, boom, overnight, because nobody could believe it, because they're so programmed to that corporate lying system, and the ways that we've been enslaved. So it's dismantling at a mass. Well, I believe it's already dismantled, but they're showing us in the most gentlest way possible. And for most of us that are awake, it's a bit painful, and we're having to exercise our patience as much as we can. And for those of us that are still in a job, and surrounded by people who aren't awake, it can be really, really difficult. And you find that you're actually trying to function in a really low vibration, because those are low vibrating people. Where you get your lifting from is probably coming to spend time with us, because we're higher vibration people, talking about talking openly about it, because you can't anywhere else.
Yeah.
But knowing that what's coming from this is something really good, something much better than we've ever had, going to be really, really special.
Agreed. And here's the thing, it's something I saw years ago, and it just resonated so true for me that it became part of who I am. And that was that we weren't born to go to school to get a job, to pay taxes and die. That's not what we were born for. We came here, we chose to come here as a soul to have a human experience of all that this world has to offer. Not some of what this world has to offer, all of it. Not restricted by some people that don't think you should be allowed certain things. Fuck that. Fuck the WEF and you'll have nothing and be happy. No. No. I'm not going to eat your bugs, Klaus Schwab. You can fuck off.
So we have been, like, for thousands of years, we've been enslaved in our knowledge. So when we're born into this realm, we are an open book, and we are guided by our parents' knowledge into this world. And so each and every one of you are a product of your parents' knowledge into this world, to the point where you can walk and talk and stand on your own 2 feet, and then to the point where you then take on what you choose to, what part of society, whether you resonate with the job, and you fall into the rat race. And that's generally how the cycle has been. But in all reality, when we get back to the truth of our real abilities and what we're truly capable of, man. And so this is where we're going to into the future. Might sound a bit too big or too much to kind of comprehend right now, but you imagine any newborns coming in, that we can show them how to manifest anything that they want, how to go from point A to point B, but just by thinking about it. How to levitate. Could you imagine that? We have the ability to levitate. It's like, but we couldn't. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you've experienced it in a meditative state, but it's like we're capable of that, but it's been stolen from us, and that's where we're heading back to. So yeah, and so the Durham report.
Yeah, back to the Durham report, because if for anyone that that's not what I want. I don't know if I can delete that. For anyone that wants the Durham report, wants a copy of it, I'm just putting it in the chat here for everyone. That's the do the second one. Anwar Craven posted the link to the Durham report. So actually, man, I would link straight to it so that you don't have to go through. So ignore the first two links. It's the third one. All right.
There you go. Much shorter and simpler. There you go.
Yeah, much. So back to. I'd love people's feedback on this. What do you think should be happening to these people that knowingly
deceived.
Knowingly deceived and essentially committed treason? What should be happening to these people?
Well, that's, I guess everybody can have their opinion. At the end of the day, it's already written into law what happens with treason. Death. And it didn't, isn't Trump talking about bringing back in the death penalty? Or hanging or something?
He wrote that back in. Well, it's still punishable by death now. Mm.
Well, so you're then going to see the enactment probably mainstream now of the main executive orders that were created, that he put into place when he got into presidency when he got the presidency in 2016. Those that are deceiving and using their ability for ill gains and everything's seized. Everything's seized. So, this is all coming. Well, to me, it's coming mainstream. I think I shared with you a whole. There was half a dozen news clips all talking about the Durham report. I think I put it under our rug channel, and you could probably almost click on that.
Was it under the rug? Oh, you guys, if you're not yet part of the Under the Rug channel, then by all means, there's a link in the description of YouTube and in Rumble as well. Feel free to join us over there, but also if you aren't yet following us on Rumble, do that just in case we get pulled from here, because we're starting to get even more controversial, I think.
Yeah, if you go in Under the Rug, it's just 3 posts. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could pull that up, Andrew, and just play one of the shorter clips. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clips on there. I say clips, news segments on different channels that are all talking about this.
Let's have a look.
Looking forward to 2024, how concerned are you that some of these same forces are still operating within the U.S. government, who can, put their finger on the scale one way or another, whether it's an investigation of another candidate or something else that they might try to pull?
I'm very concerned. I think all you have to look at is 2016 and 2020. I think 2016, as this Durham report is exposed, was sort of a prelude to what we saw in 2020 when it came to the intelligence community and entrenched forces there mobilizing to work on behalf of the Joe Biden campaign and work against a duly elected president. And I think this entire report now really just exposes that this should be the final death knell for the FBI. No impartial judge should ever accept an affidavit written by an FBI agent because they have to presume that they didn't have any evidence, and no impartial jury should render a guilty verdict. I think now the FBI has exposed itself as a political actor, and it's no longer legitimate, and they just really need to be control-alt-deleted. We need to have a reset. And that's going to be incumbent on a future Republican presidency to take that on, and hopefully the House.
Yeah, top to bottom reform.
See the big smile on that other guy's face.
Sure.
He was talking. But that was the Fox channel, you know. So I mean, you know, they've probably been one of the more vocal of the channels over there. But is there a CNN one? There's a couple of good ones in there, but. You know, the fact that we would
3 minutes long.
Yeah, we would never have expected to see that mainstream media coming out and talking about that, and that in itself, just that part in itself, is massively significant because there's the part of the population that has been lied to, you know, since 2016, you know. When he got in, they never thought he'd win. So when he got in, they were banging on him and how bad he was and useless and everything since 2016. So if you look at that, that's bloody, what's that, 7 years? How could you endure that? You know, it's like...
Right, unless you already knew the outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody, I mean, Jacinda Ardern couldn't even handle her friggin' term here. She stepped down.
It's because she was told to. Yeah, she went to Gitmo. She hasn't come back. I see our friend that we had on our show a couple of weeks ago, Tim Webb, he posted on Facebook the other day saying, does anyone else think that get the feeling that JA has been offed or something like that? And I was like, yep.
Hey, don't hear anything about that. You know, it's like, it's craziness.
Let's have a look at this one. There's another one from Fox though, but anyway.
And that's the worst thing here. You kind of expect a political campaign to do dirty tricks. You kind of expect anymore the corrupt media to pull dirty tricks. You don't expect it from your government. And what happened here was our own government, our own federal law enforcement agency, perpetrated a hoax directed at conning and gaslighting the American people. And I think the most important thing you can gather from this report is that the FBI is a domestic terror organization. They use their power, they use their influence to try and lie, try to gaslight the American people, to try and rig an election. And I have a hard time looking at this and coming to any other conclusion than that the FBI has to be defunded, because this wasn't one or two rogue agents. This happened from the very top. This was directed from the very top all the way down, and it was a lie and a coup against our government, against our democracy, a term Democrats love to use, perpetrated by our own government. And that's the worst thing here. You kind of...
The FBI should be defunded and labelled a terrorist organisation. I tend to agree.
So let's question the people here that are watching this, and if you're living in New Zealand, and how would you feel if this type of information was coming out against our own government? All right, like how would you feel?
We might be just doing a precursor there. We might be foreshadowing what's about to happen.
Well, so you imagine exactly. So it's like you imagine the mainstream media in Australia coming out and talking about their own government like that. You know, it's like this. Yeah, I didn't really think about that till you just said that. It's like, yeah,
because you know, we know that has happened here and in New Zealand and many other places. And if what we assume is correct, and you should never assume because you make an ass out of you and umption. But if what we assume is correct, that it's a foregone conclusion and the chess game is won, then all that information has to come out. And the reason it has to come out, Neil, is because how do you then go and trust the establishment or your functional government? How do you trust that if they haven't been upfront and transparent? You can't. I mean, you certainly can't trust them after the last 3 years because everyone's been lied to. about safe and effective. Everyone was lied to about that. About it being life-threatening. Well, everyone was lied to about that. If we look at statistics, the flu 100% disappeared. Oh, holy shit! It just took a vacation for 2 years. Yeah, and funnily enough, the figures are very similar. So we were 100% lied to and hoodwinked. I for one can never forgive the people that are there right now. It needs to be a complete flush from the top down. They need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, and we're speeding up and getting to that point. We're talking about, if you think about everything that we've been talking about here today and around the Durham Report and everything that's going on there and calling out all those political idiots over there.
Politiots.
And yeah. Ooh,
I like that. It's catchy. Politiots.
But then you've got, we've talked about the corporation, right? Every country is exactly the same. We're going to witness the fall of the
cabal,
the corporate part of the slavery system that's coming down. So, and it's like, is it, so kind of potentially clicking onto this, and what could help speed that process up even more is countries stepping away from the US dollar. So even the Iraqi government are telling their citizens not to use the US dollar anymore.
Then not just telling them not to use it, they're not accepting
it.
Yeah, they're enforcing it. You cannot use the US dollar in Iraq anymore.
And I saw something. It's like they're supposedly going back to, revaluing their currency. And I'm kind of at a point with this revaluing. There's so much stuff around that, because it's meant to be, right now it's like 1,300 Iraqi dinar to $1 US. And then I'm hearing it could be as high as $4 US to $1 Iraqi dinar, which is just insane. But then we know that the US dollar is not valued at anything. It's not worth the paper it's printed on.
That's right.
So are they revaluing against a new gold standard US dollar that we haven't heard about yet? Is that what the RV is? And then I saw something that they're also a part of applying to join BRICS at the same time. I'm like, holy cow! It's like, how is this thing working? It's like, if they're going to do, what's the point of doing an RV and having this massive flip on the exchange value if the dollar's worth nothing anyway? It's pointless. There's something else going on here.
And if it's still inside the old corrupt system, the old corrupt stock market, which has been manipulated, the precious metals has been manipulated for years, all of those things. And that's why, coming back to some of our earlier episodes, we were talking about the XLM ledger, right? The Stellar ledger, and what's been built over there, and that is muted to be the new stock exchange, the stock market, and that's to get rid of all the corruption that is currently in the current one. I mean, you've even got to look at, and then we're getting off topic a little bit, but we even got to look at the SEC and what they've done in and around Bitcoin and Ethereum and that whole XRP case and what's been going on there. I mean, if you talk to some people, and I've seen the documents personally as well, like I've seen them online. I didn't see it personally, I hadn't seen them with the wet signature, but I've seen the documents to suggest that case was over in October of 21.
Yeah.
Right? So has this been a charade this whole time? Are they still trying to get, and these guys, I haven't got a conclusion to any of these questions I'm asking. It is literally just more questions that are coming up. But is this coming to a logical conclusion? Has this all been laid out like this? Let's hypothesize that they did in fact finish that case in October of 21. I'm talking about the XRP case, and they have found that the SEC was complicit and even took money. They had conflict. Well, not the SEC personally, but the people involved with the SEC from Ethereum, from Bitcoin, to give them a free pass, a hall pass, to go through and do what they've done in the marketplace. If that happened, if that case was closed in October, what's all this theatre for now? Where does that bring us to? Is that just to show the depth of the corruption that we are seeing in federal institutions? And when I say federal institutions, I'm not talking about the Federal Reserve, because that's neither federal nor fucking a bank. It's not public. It's like, it's privately owned. And there was, you know,
yeah.
It brings up more questions. It does.
Yeah, but it's like, so we're sort of going with the Iraqi dinar and just that whole potential scenario of a revalue and how that's going to do. It's like, you know, they're talking about this whole reset and the countries going back to their own, you know, their own value. Every country is going to reset, and every country's been controlled by the US dollar. And
it has,
and the way they control
for a long time. You know, since the 60s, since Kissinger went and made that deal with the Saudis. We'll offer you protection as long as you don't sell oil in anything other than the US dollar. That's what gave it its value. That's what gave it its power. And that's what, dare I say it, and this is no disrespect to any of my American friends, because I have a lot of them, but that enabled the United States of America, the corporation, to become the fucking bully, the world bully. And if you've never watched Team America World Police, which is essentially a piss take by the creators of South Park, that sums it up perfectly. You know, and there's memes that have come out. Looks like Mars got some oil. Oh, looks like Mars needs some freedom. You know, that's the whole thing. They've just been fucking bullies with a magnifying glass. That's it. And that's not the citizens of the United States. No. That's not who they are. That's just the women evil and corruption that is rife throughout the corporation.
The corporate military arm.
Yeah.
The corporate enforcer. And those working with that didn't know. They thought they were representing the American people and the Constitution, everything it stood for. But no, they weren't. And, you know, this is probably some of the hard stuff that these guys are going to have to deal with, you know, when the truth comes out on this. And you know, it's, you know, lot of recovery is going to have to come out of this. Some will some won't even recover. Some will take years. Some will take 6 months. Some might not take that long, but you know, some might not just be able to deal with it full stop, I guess. And that probably, on that thinking, is why it probably helps us understand why it's such a slow rollout process to ease the transition to the new and learning the truth about what's really gone on to get us to this point in the first place. But yeah, we're in really, really interesting times. That is for sure.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, talking about trauma, just I'm still looking for if people want a breathwork journey, which is it's about 90 minutes of your time. I'm going to hand over to Neil in a second. He'll be able to tell you what that's like. But it's about 90 minutes. If you guys want to have a journey, I'm still looking for, dare I say, guinea pigs. It's not entirely true. I need to get a few people through journeys. I need to do a minimum of 15 of them to get my qualification there. So if anyone's looking for a breathwork journey, we can do it over Zoom at a time that's convenient for you and convenient for me too, obviously. But if you're keen on that, then please reach out. Let me know. Neil, how was your experience with that?
When you shared that with me, and well, here's the thing. And I said, I've never, you know, meditation and stuff like that. And I've tried it, and it's like, yeah, I just never really feel like I've been able to benefit from it. It's a couple of dogs just come and want to play. Okay. Yeah, come here. Oh, no, no, you can't. Sorry.
Some breathwork going on there.
Sorry.
The dog ate my homework.
You can hear this noise, but you can't see it. It's like, must be a giant, right? Titus, come here. Oh no, he wants to play. Sorry. So back to the breath work. Like, going through the process took me to an experience that I'd never ever experienced before. Sort of something that I was looking from just through, I guess, you know, what you would perceive as sort of normal stuff. So this breathwork stuff and going through was the release, and the process was just awesome. You know, I highly, highly, highly recommend just going to spend an hour and a half with Andrew and take you on a journey. And I guarantee you that you will definitely get something out of it. And clarity from potential past traumas that's kept you in the space that you are, but the ability to help focus more on what you want to do and moving forwards, and just a better uplifting feeling coming off of that. Mind-blowing. Highly recommend it. And if Andrew's offering you a free session or a guinea pig session, then jump on it, because you won't regret it, and you'll get a lot out of it, and I guarantee you'll want to carry on and do some more. So
awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. So for those who already have contacted me, I have got you on a list, so I haven't forgotten you. But anyone else that you thought, yeah, actually, I'd like to give that a go. It's good. It's a transformational breathwork journey. As I said, it's about 90 minutes. It's where we let the body take care of any trauma. And that's repressed, suppressed. And if you're not sure what repressed is, that's stuff that your mind has blocked out without you even knowing about it. Right from the time we come out of the womb. And it goes back that far. It's very, very powerful medium. So anyone that wants to have a go at that, please reach out. Let me know. Yeah. On another note, excuse me, clear my throat. On another note, in previous episodes, we've asked people who would be interested in delving down the rabbit hole, not so much the rabbit hole, but establishing different ways in which to generate passive income. Now, it's a space that I've worked in and around for a long time. I've taken the last couple of years off, and I've spoken about that. I even wrote about it in my book, and Neil as well knows all about it. But for anyone that is interested in that, about finding out new passive income strategies, we have one that's come across our radar. It came across my radar over 6 months ago, and I have been monitoring it since. Now, you don't have to tell anyone about it. You can, but you don't have to, and that's the beauty of it, and that's one of the reasons I really, really like it. And you can generate yourself a nice, healthy little income. In fact, Neil and I were talking about it before, and he said, shit, if I'd have done this instead of that, I'd be passively generating $2,000 a month right now, US. So, that covers a lot of bills and stuff like that. And that's with only, what did you say? That would have been put in, how much?
Probably 3,000 or 4,000.
There you go. 3,000 or 4,000 he would be generating of around $2,000 a month passively without having to tell anyone about it ever. So if that sounds like something that could be of interest to you, then again, reach out to myself or Neil, because in the next week or so, we will be doing a separate webinar on that and how you can potentially get started with it, and how you can get your money working for you, because we know that it's, and guys, not financial advice or anything stupid like that. They would be rewards. They wouldn't be a return. They're rewards. We know that the banks aren't safe. We know that they're collapsing left, right, and center, literally. And it's time for you to take control of your money and what you want to do with it. So it's something that I'm definitely doing, Neil's definitely doing, and we'd love to share it with you so that you can benefit from it as well.
I think in a nutshell, a platform that has all the diversity and all the different elements that help make the world function.
Yep.
And a point where you're in total control. You're your own bank at the end of the day, and you can control it. And when you want to withdraw, it's on your terms. You're not waiting for anybody else to control it, because it's all built on the blockchain. And it's really simple and easy to use. So you couldn't ask for a better platform. And I'm pretty excited about it, actually. So
yeah, me too. I haven't been this excited since 2017. And if anyone wants to, 2017, I was pretty freaking excited. Very, very excited. And the beauty of this is that it's weekly, monthly. You can withdraw it. There's no restriction on it. It's beautiful. And I personally know someone that is doing around $200K a month on it. Admittedly, they're sharing it, but they're doing around $200K a month on it, and they've been doing it less than 12 months. And I know someone else that's been doing it I know them personally. that has only been doing it since December and is taking around 50 to 80 grand a month out of it. Now,
And
keep in mind, she's sharing, but she's not publicly sharing. She's very, very under the radar.
And you're not involved with receiving funds from a marketing plan.
Yeah,
you're receiving rewards from blue chip companies.
Yeah, and that's beautiful, isn't it?
Blue chip companies that really we're getting access to the companies that only billionaires have access to, and they're sort of the elite. So
in fact, you're getting access to opportunities, not just the companies, the opportunities and the way in which they leverage their money. We're getting access to all of that, which is something you don't get as a normie, as a pleb. But anyway.
And you're in control the whole way. But anyway, that's enough of that for now. Just a little teaser. If you want to have a good look, you probably need to, when we get ready, allocate an hour. And when I looked at this, and I'm like, oh my God, how did I miss this one? But yeah, time wasn't right. We needed to go through some stuff. We've done that, and but hey, if you've got Dong or XRP, I mean, who knows? It could be all over by next Thursday again anyway. Who knows?
That's right. But as I said to you yesterday, though, if that happens, then I'm putting a lot of that into that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we found a platform we found a platform that's done everything that allows us to diversify and have 100%. Instant access to it. So that's even better.
Yep. All right, folks, it's the bottom of the hour. In fact, it's just past the bottom of the hour. So we have been here for an hour. It's been great to be here with you this week, as always. Do apologise for not being here last week. Again, I was sick. You can still hear that I'm a little bit. We will be back next week, but I do believe there is a break of at least a week coming up in the next 3 or 4. I can't give any more information about that at the moment. But yeah, it'll probably be 3 weeks' time. There'll be a week off. And that's because I won't be sure of what the internet will be like where I am. But that could be fun anyway. It's been great to be here with you, Neil. It's been great to be here with you. And awesome. We'll see you guys next week, 11:30 a.m. Remember, get out, share it with people if you found value. If you haven't, then just come back and throw shit at us. That's fine. So, love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
And keep your energy high.
Absolutely.
If you're in a space where people are drawing you and sucking your energy, just move it, get out of there, and keep your energy high, because we need it as high as we can right now with everything that's going on. But hey,
giddy up.
Love you all. See you again. Same time, same bat channel next week.
Ka kite anō.
Bye.